Music man, music man.
Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing today? How was your weekend? How was your week? Did y'all have a good weekend? Is y'all week off to a great start? Well, I hope it is. Mine is. And, I'm looking forward to better to come. So anyway, I hope you all had a good week. Looking forward to today's show. Man, we got some stuff lined up today, right? But you already know. Before we get started, I see y'all get in the studio already. Before we get started, y'all know I got to do my spiel. So anyway, we are up to the 78th episode. 78 episodes, y'all. I'm telling you. So I'm so grateful for you. But anyway, so I want to just thank you all for pulling up, whether you're watching me live or you're watching me on a rerun, YouTube, whatever. Listen to the replay. You know I love you. I appreciate you. And thank you so much. So anyway, let me go ahead and do my spiel. Now, you know that you should be liking, following across all platforms. Listen, you're probably watching this on YouTube, right? Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It's Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period or you're gonna be somewhere else, right? On Facebook, come and join the group. It's RelationshipSoupGroup. If you want to follow me, it's RelationshipSoupLLC. And then, of course, for your greeting card needs, it's RelationshipSoup.com, right? All right, y'all. So let's see here. All right. I see your comments already. And like I said, if y'all want to get in the studio, I've already posted the link right here. So if you want to pop in, come and join. I see there's a couple people in the studio already. So if you want to come in, come and join. We would love to have you. All right. I see. Miss Woodson, what's the science? Thank you so much for joining me, beautiful. You know I really, really appreciate you. All right. So anyway, what do I want to do? Okay, so I do have an event I want to talk about. I got to give some birthday shout outs, right? And some other stuff. So anyway, there is an event coming up. I do want to share a little bit about this event because, okay, so it's not a relationship soup event, and that's okay, right? But this one could be a good one for singles. So let me go ahead and get this going because guess what? Y'all might even want to go to this event. So let me go ahead and share this with y'all. All right, boom. So hopefully y'all can see that. So this is presented by 3T, right? It's a pure fun fall social. It's for singles. All right. So if you're single and fabulous and you want to come together for some fun It will be on Saturday, September 13th at 6 p.m. at 8035 Craig Street, Indianapolis, Indiana 46250. I will actually put this in the thread because you got to hit this little QR code to get more information. So, and this will be hosted by Music Man. He's actually the DJ and the host, so that should be really good. So anyway, I will share this, and he will be on later to tell you a little bit more about it. So that's that. All right, boom. So like I said, if you're trying to, get your social on and you single, you want to hit that event up. Cool. All right, I see y'all are in the comments already. Jay Desiree, what's going on, fam? Thanks so much for joining me. You know, I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. All right, boom. So, y'all, I got to give my shout outs because I already know that they watched it and already told me. Last week we had such a great conversation. So, happy birthday to my admin, Nikki Bonner, Mrs. Bonner, and Carlito Lewis. Happy birthday. Now, listen, that's what I was talking about last week. Isn't it crazy? Like, their birthdays are on the same day and they're best friends, right? And then I share a birthday with Carl's other best friend and his mama, right? So, look, that's destiny. So, anyway, happy birthday, y'all. Happy birthday to all the Leos. I already know that y'all turn it up because it ain't nothing like, man, Leos is going to show you how to do it. They're going to show you, right? So, anyway, happy birthday to all the Leos. Them birthday twins. Yes, yes, yes. There she is right there. Now, Nikki, if you want to get in the studio, I know it's your birthday. So that's why I was just kind of like, I'm gonna let y'all go easy, because I already know how y'all do. I didn't party with y'all on your birthday. All right, boom. What's going on, B? Brian's Cross. What's the mathematics? So glad that you can join me. I appreciate you and I look forward to your feedback because these topics that we're gonna cover tonight, I think they could really hit home with some of us, right? All right, boom. So let me see. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Yes, yes, yes. Mark, be on it. Mr. Lee, be on it. Subscribe, hit like, hit subscribe, all of that. Because we need that. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's show. All right, so this is the 78th episode, and this one is entitled, This is Elisa's Lens, because basically we're doing some reflection today. So we're just doing a soul check after the swipe. You know how we was talking about swiping last week about the dating apps and stuff. So that's what we're doing this week. So anyway, so basically what we're going to do, we're just going to check in after last week's topic was hot. I got DMs and everything about that. We talked about, if you forgot because you slept since then, we talked about like gossip apps and whether they help to promote safer love, right? So we're going to get into that, and then we're going to get into, okay, y'all, this idea. I'm telling you, my DMs be crazy sometimes. But anyway, this next idea is: Are you the main character or a backup plan? That was by demand, so we're going to get into that, and then we're going to also talk about vulnerability and honesty, right? What matters more than damage control, right? So anyway, basically, let me ask y'all this, so y'all can be thinking about it. In your opinion, and put it in the chat, is lying by omission still lying? Is it still lying to kick it? Right? So I'll ask that again. In your opinion, is lying by omission still lying to kick it? Right? So anyway, y'all grab your soup, your tea, your favorite drink, whatever, because we are about to get into it tonight. All right. So look, I'm gonna need y'all voice tonight because I really want to know how y'all feel. I really want to know how y'all feel about all this. So don't be shy. How we do every week. All right, so let's see here. There's some more comments. Okay, yes, there's some happy birthdays. Yes, yes, yes. Happy birthday to the twins, Carl and Nikki. Yes, happy Tuesday, Derek. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. And make sure that you stick around because I want to know what you think about this stuff too. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Okay, so y'all, like I said, last week we talked about, the dating app T. We talked about other apps. And look, brothers, y'all got y'all apps too. See, I know some of y'all was probably quick to say, "Oh, this is what women do." No, y'all got y'all whisper apps too. Y'all be rating and talking about y'all past dating experiences too, right? So anyway, we got into what does safety look like in love? Like, is it petty or is it really helping, right? So I know some of y'all probably walked away thinking, y'all probably had this question. Lisa, is it really gossip if it's about safety? I know y'all was thinking that, right? And I would say it totally depends. It depends on what the intent is because I think the panel and listen, they was on because I had to go get something to eat. Y'all know how I am on a Tuesday, right? So they were on for at least 2 hours talking about this, and even the points that they made last week was really good. And it really does depend on your intention, right? Because here's the truth, although it could be looked at as protection, right? And then it could also be looked at that people are posting out and being petty, right? You really got to think, what do you want your relationship to thrive on? In your opinion, what do healthy relationships thrive on, right? So let's think about this. Now, for me, if I'm thinking about a healthy relationship, it's going to thrive on mutual trust. It's going to thrive on accountability and emotional safety, right? And so while these whisper networks or these gossip apps might protect you in the short term, you got to think, what about the long term? What is that going to do? Right? How is that going to really help to facilitate a healthy relationship? Right? Because then will it turn into you relying on these different apps for every dating decision, like some people was doing with AI? Remember we had that conversation? So, the truth of the matter is, although these can be a tool, you have to think about it and you have to really reflect because I'm really big about doing the knowledge yourself. You're going to have to really reflect on what's your picker looking like? Is your picker off? Right? What are your boundaries like? Or is it both? So, that's something that you might want to think about. You can't totally rely on tools. Sometimes, I mean, it really starts within, right? So, anyway, what else? What else? You are so welcome, Nikki. We appreciate you. Happy birthday, soul day, or whatever. Hey, Derek gonna put it out there. Tonality Record says a new app launched since last week called T on Her. I know you lying. Are you serious? It's called T on Her. Is it an extension of the T, or is this kind of like a branch out? Like, or is this something else? Let me know. Talk to me. Talk to me. We had it. I know they was on there. I'm thinking I'm gonna get in, kind of, do some checks and stuff, and they in there like just talking, just on forever, forever, ever. Okay, so yes, Nikki says thanks, Derek. I'm so for real. Really. Hmm. All right. All right. So Antonio McBee says starts what you desire. Absolutely, and thank you so much for joining me, Antonio. I appreciate you. Yeah, and that's good. That makes sense. It starts what you desire in your heart. You really have to look at that, right? You really have to look at what your intentions are, what your picker looking like, what your boundaries are. You have to look at so much when it comes to, well, I mean, you don't have to do anything. It's a good idea to look at those things. T on her. Listen, Antonio, I'm gonna look at it. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna join it, but I'm gonna look at it because I'm kind of curious. Like, what is that looking like? So Derek says it's a deliberate deception, whether by omission, spin, or whatever. It's a form of lying, manipulation, disrespect, etc. Right. Wait till we get into that because I am telling you, I've had this conversation before, and I know that was posted in the soup a really long time ago. But anyway, yes, I can definitely see that viewpoint. And so the question is lying by omission still lying? Are you lying to kick it? Like it's just like you technically didn't lie, but you lying. So anyway, we're gonna get into that. Sorry, Jocelyn. Let's go ahead and get into some things. So let's see here. I do want to uh, pose this question to see where y'all are tonight. Let me go ahead and put it in the chat. I feel like I'm kind of like, am I slow motion? I feel like I'm moving slow in time. Like I'm one of them Asian flicks. Like my my voice ain't matching up with my. I don't know. Let me know. All right, so boom. So this is a question. Do you believe sharing dating intel online is more about safety or about shaming? So I'm just curious, in this time, in this present, what y'all think? What y'all feeling? I'm just saying, what y'all think? Me and Nikki had a 2 hour show offline. Listen, it was you, Nikki, Carl, and Mark Lee. Y'all was on there. It was all of y'all. Not at all. You are in sync. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mark, because I don't know. My internet was tripping even last night. Like it was going in and out. It was, I'm trying to work on some things and it was doing the entire food. But thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. All right, y'all. So let's see. So is there anything else I want to add before we move on to this next topic? Because of course I had a conversation with this one before the show. Crazy. All right. So let's go into the next chapter, okay, or the next segment or whatever. I'm laughing because this conversation was so hilarious. Hilarious. So anyway, um, are you the main character or a backup plan? Hashtag placeholder. All right, so let me give a background. So anyway, like I said, my DMs would hit up like, hey, I got a topic for the show or whatever, and I actually posted this on my Instagram. So, hey, listen, I think you should talk about it, right? So basically, the question to you is, and I see y'all in the studio. Let me know if y'all want to come on. Hit the chat. Hit the chat if y'all want to come on here. I don't want to bring you on if you don't want to come on. But okay, so anyway, so check it out. All right, so anyway, they said that they basically posted on their Instagram store, like their Instagram, hey, are you a placeholder or are you a backup plan? Or are you the main character? And so there were so many DMs that this person got. And basically they was like, nah, I ain't with my main character. I'm just, I'm just with this person or whatever. Right. It was at least 9 responses. So let me ask you, have you ever wondered if you were somebody's second choice? Right. So basically, hey, I guess you're not alone because them people that hit up the DM, they somebody is they not even a first choice. So, whether you thought about that, whether you're in a relationship or even you might be reflecting on a past relationship, maybe, that question can creep into your head like, hmm, am I a second choice? Right. So let me put this on you. Now, what would y'all do? Okay. If you were someone's second choice, but they chose to love you fully and consistently, okay. Say you somebody's second choice, but then they decided, hey yo, I want to love you fully and consistently. In your opinion, does that choice become intentional? Is it about how the race started, or is it about who crossed the finish line with you? What y'all think? So basically, if somebody was like, you basically use a second choice and then they started acting right, would you still, how would you feel about that? All right, so I do see some comments. Let's see here. So Derek says, I heard about T on her today. I don't mess with any of them. Derek, I get it. I get it. I get it. All right, so Nikki says, I think you find out later if they ever tell you the signs. Yeah, that makes sense. Folks be playing a role, acting like a couple with no intention of going to the next level. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, so y'all, what are some ways? All right, let me ask y'all this question. What are some signs that you might be a person's placeholder holder or not their first choice? Right? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? What are some signs? Does anybody on the studio want to address that? Y'all ain't touching that. I ain't seeing no nods. Y'all want to- All right, well, all right. So listen. What about in the chat? Usually they are slow to commit. Absolutely. Um, DR test. Now, whose idea was this DR test? What's the mathematics? I would say it to the person, but yeah, I have dated a second choice. Have most of us dated a second choice before? Let's be honest. They only come to your house. Ooh, hey Shantae, what's up, beautiful? It was so good to see you over the weekend. I wish it was under different circumstances, but it was really good to see you. Right? Commitment folks, absolutely. What else? What are some other signs? They make last minute plans with you. Your needs and feelings seem like they are lower priority compared to everything and everybody else. Like, oh yeah, I get to you later. I'm gonna leave your needs on red. I'm sorry. You catch them hiding or minimizing significant parts of their life. They hesitate or refuse to define the relationship clearly. You often feel like you're competing for attention or affection rather than sharing it equally, right? What y'all think? What y'all think? Shantae Hearts. They don't introduce you to their friend circle. I can see that. Right, that is one. I had actually did some other additional research. Yeah, that is definitely one. Uh, treat you like an afterthought. Yes, absolutely. I know some folks in long-term situationships live years of living, years of their lives waiting to be chosen. Sad, sad, sad. The second choice is a group member, but not too messy. Oh, okay, I see, I see. Yeah, those are definitely some other signs. Let's see here. That's a good one. They avoid introducing you to important people in their life. You mostly get the last minute plans or very vague invitations. Uh, they reach out to you after their first choice. I don't know how you would know that, right? How would you know that, right? Oh, you know. Ain't nobody come to see you. Listen, listen, right? Hmm, that's crazy. So let me ask y'all this. All right. So has any of you? Let me go ahead and put this question out here because I am curious. Like, let me go ahead and put this out there. Oh, Vicky is hilarious. All right, so my computer is moving a little slow. Okay, so have you ever realized that you were a backup plan and how did you know? So really, is anybody bold enough to answer this? Have you ever realized you were a backup plan and how did you know? So if you want to answer that in the chat, feel free to answer that. Would love to know how y'all handle that, right? And so yeah, tell us what you did. All right. So let's see here. Let's see. You know what? Let's dive a little bit deeper. Anybody in the studio want to come on? Y'all, I see y'all. I just want to make sure I ain't being rude. Y'all Gucci? Come on. All right. I see y'all. All right, let me know when y'all ready. All right, so I got stood up on Valentine's Day. Okay, okay. Yeah, that definitely can happen, right? Get stood up on Valentine's Day. Backed up out of here. Listen, ask. Nobody sticking around for that. Right? Ain't nobody sticking around for that. And you know what? And I do have a question. Like, because it could very well be somebody might be watching this right now, knowing good and dang on well that they with somebody and it ain't even their first choice. But my question is, why are you doing that? Right? Now, okay, so say whether it's your first choice wasn't available or whatever, you just, buying. Why are you doing that? Right? Why are you wasting time? Right? Why are you doing that? Right? Do you not love yourself enough to get what you want? Right? Why put somebody in that position? But you too weak to be by yourself? You want to be alone? Right? So you're just gonna have somebody and you're not even telling them that they second choice. At least tell them. At least you're not even who I really want. Let's just make an agreement that we just gonna, can it work like that? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Derek said she kept tripping. I'm waiting to check. Tag me. Nikki, you want to come on? Birthday girl. I'm gonna add you to the stage. Nikki, happy birthday, beautiful. How are you?
Hey.
I'm ready, sis. I'm ready. I didn't even wear black on your birthday today. You hear me? I wore look, I wanted to match my cup a little bit. I wanted to
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I've been drinking all day, so we gonna see what happens.
listen, I know how y'all get down. I didn't party with y'all for your birthday, but toast to you
Yeah.
and Carlito. I know Carlito's probably over the road. So happy birthday. May y'all be blessed with many, many, many more. Right?
Thank you, Bookie. You gotta
So
excuse my hair. I've been out in this southern humidity today.
girl, you could wear a paper bag and still be beautiful. Everybody's not able.
Thank you, Bookie.
Of course,
So,
girl.
but yeah, no, what you said about being weak, yeah, weak boundaries make for the perfect storm for somebody to take advantage.
Absolutely.
And that's just all it is to it. If somebody knows that they have this person with weak boundaries, then they can, and they can steamroll them. They don't steamroll them.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
So especially if that person has weak boundaries and the person that's steamrolling them has low moral character.
mhm, mhm.
So because
Absolutely.
I don't think it's right for you to take advantage of somebody who, let's say, has feelings for you and has you first, and they are not your choice. They're not your option.
Right. Right.
That's not fair.
It's not
But
fair.
I know plenty of people that do it and spend time
Absolutely.
in these situationships. And then, but the problem is, and it's usually women, but they treat the situationship like it's their
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and sometimes I have to remind them that, sis, that's not your man.
Mm-hmm. 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 And
So
that's my thing because, all right, now, I know it's a case by case, right? And, for me, you know, how do you be in a say a friends with benefits or a situationship or whatever, and you don't develop no feelings? How do you keep it at that? I'm not asking you, I'm just saying this is the question that I have. Like, how do you keep it just at that? Because especially if it's believed that some, that women are receivers and all this stuff, like, how do you keep it at, this is just my placeholder until something better come along without ever catching no feelings? How do you do that? Like, I'm not asking you personally, I'm just saying, like, I think about that. Because if I'm with you,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know how somebody keeps a placeholder per se, but I mean, basically, I feel like, especially as women, because we typically jump in further, right? Further, faster, I should say. I think that, and what I tell women, like I just told my sister maybe week before last, reserve some stuff for yourself. Unless and until you have that commitment, even when you have that commitment, if it's still fresh, if it's still new, reserve some stuff for yourself in a sense of keep things in perspective of everybody has choices. And if this man gets up and disappears tomorrow, walks away tomorrow, keep something for yourself so that you are okay, some level of detachment. And I think that when you have somebody, if you have somebody that's considering you as a second place or second choice, that is the level of detachment. So I don't think they have a problem with keeping it that way because they're reaping all the benefits, but they are keeping you at arm's distance. And like I say, you have to have, in order for that to work, you have to have somebody who lacks boundaries and has really, and unfortunately, is low self-esteem because they're still willing to take whatever scraps this person is giving.
absolutely. And I want to correct something right quick because I want to make sure that I said that right. I'm not calling the person necessarily weak that is um the receiver of being second place, right? I'm just saying, to
Mhm.
me, it's weak of somebody who knowingly knows, like, look, I don't really want to F with them like that.
Yeah, I mean, but Lisa,
That, to me,
let's
that's
be
weak.
real. On both ends, there's some weakness. Yeah, it's weak and whack of a person to take advantage, but at the same time, on the other end, you're not getting what you need from this person, and you're not getting what you need from
That's
this
real.
person.
That's
Which,
real.
if you're willing to accept whatever little scraps they've given you, as opposed to getting what you actually need and deserve from this person, yeah, your boundaries are weak. That's why they're able to take advantage.
That's real. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, because me, I'm always rooting for the underdog. I'm like, hey, listen, no. But no,
Listen,
and
I
it,
love
it,
the underdog, but I want the underdog to stand up, sis. Stand
that
up.
makes that makes that's the, you know what? That's facts. That is all the way facts. It's like,
Right.
okay, at some point you gotta snap out of it and be like, yo, let me go inward, let me look at self, and let me figure it out. And that's why I was saying in the beginning, like, you have to look at what your boundaries are. What is your picker like? Because who picker probably ain't been off. You know, listen, I'm gonna raise both hands. You hear me? I'm gonna raise both hands. This picker been a fool, right? And there's a question that I was
The
gonna ask
picker has
earlier.
let me down.
Listen, the picker was like, the discernment and the picker was like, they was in cahoots. They was tag teaming, like, no, bro.
They set us up, sis. The picker and the
They
sermon set us
did. They
up.
absolutely did. And that's why I say you got to go inward, because it's just kind of like you have to figure out what your patterns are. Like me, when I had that little talk with myself, like when a lot of things were going down, it's just like, man, what am I drawing to me? What am I getting into relationships with, right? And I don't know what it is. Wounded masculines, they love it. They love a sister, right? But then I had to look at, well, why am I drawing that type of man to me? Why do I draw men that have such issues with their mama?
Mhm.
That hate their mama.
You
That
know
don't like
what?
their
And
mama.
this is what I'm gonna tell you. And the same thing I tell my homegirls. You attract all different kinds. You attract a lot of men.
Mhm.
It's what you choose is the
Facts.
problem.
Facts. Facts.
I
Facts.
mean, we can keep it 100. Girl, you fine. You
Yeah.
attract all kinds.
Listen, birds of a feather. I mean, you married now. You married now.
Game recognized game. You
Yeah.
attract all kinds. But the problem is what we choose. So, the dude that we kind of, sometimes it's the dude we, pushing off because it's not our type. But, our type fails us a lot of times.
Facts. And there's a familiar already with that, like being familiar. There's patterns, there's easy, there's all these different reasons why.
Mhm,
And I'm telling you, like when stuff hit the fan, a couple years ago, I had to be honest with myself. Like I had to really that mirror
mhm.
was cold blooded. And I had to look
Yeah.
at Lisa, what are you choosing? What has your pattern been? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I can be transparent. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna
Mhm.
never act like my choice is perfect.
Yeah.
Hence. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? But it's the same thing. It's like once you really sit down and have that hard look in the mirror,
Mhm.
look past the exterior and look inside to the ugly part. Yeah. And really come to grips with, okay, what am I doing? Why did I
Fact.
let this happen? Why did I let this get this far? What the helly?
Absolutely. Yeah. What the hell?
I mean, and it took for me, it took being actually disappointed in myself to really recognize and see. And like once you have that, then it's I don't know, it's like something clicked. And the art of detachment.
Look, we done said, look, we done had a whole conversation with that. Just
Yeah.
fact,
Like you
facts.
ain't gotta
Listen,
like me, you ain't gotta like what I say. It's just it is what it
bruh,
is. I ain't for everybody. And
facts.
so, if somebody, especially coming out the gate, somebody that you just meet has an issue with you or a problem with you, listen, I'm not changing who I am. That
Listen,
means
I'll
this
grow.
this ain't it.
Listen, 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 listen.
And that's okay. That is quite okay. But I also think that there's that level of protection that, you're making sure that you're not somebody's second choice, second option. And I think I had put in the chat or I started to, there's always signs. It may not show up immediately, but there's always signs when you are second place or
Definitely,
they're
definitely.
holding out or entertaining someone else.
Absolutely. And and we have to get Camille back on here. Like her book about the ops, right? She talks about that as well, right? Because
The
you have to take
ops.
some account.
Yeah.
Listen, you have to take some accountability. Like
Mhm.
you have to look at things,
Yeah.
because the signs are there. And sometimes, hey, you got to sit with self, have that discernment, and then figure out how you gonna move with that. Because
Yeah.
you know
Hmm.
your
And
quality of life.
I think Mark just put a comment in the chat that says, a man that hates his mom is problematic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah,
And
you
that's true. But what I found is that a lot of men won't admit that they have despise or disdain towards their mothers,
mhm, mhm.
and they direct it towards women in general.
And that's the thing because this being okay, so that I try to include the human aspect in things because people do
Mhm.
have to be human and sometimes people have crappy parents. It just is what it is. Some of the stories, that I've heard, whatever
Mhm.
in the past. Sometimes they are crappy. Okay, so I give you that. But what are you doing to address that so that you don't make every woman in your life, your daughters, your aunties, your romantic interest, not suffer because you
Mhm.
mad at your mama, at your first teacher? I'm not saying
Mhm.
that you cannot dislike somebody because we got to be human first. My thing is, what are you doing to address that? Because when you don't address that, everybody else in your life is going to suffer, you
Yeah.
know? So that's just my whole thing. But let me see some of these comments.
And everybody in your life, including you,
And especially you,
suffers.
because
'Cause that's when you get things that where people say stuff like, "Oh, I don't trust women," or "Oh, I don't trust men." All
ab-
of them.
listen,
who?
well, you know
Who?
what somebody said? Who was that who said? Somebody recently said to me, women are as good as your first teacher if you don't do the work. So if your first teacher, if your mama was not the best, then that's as good as women can get. So
Mm,
that probably comes from, the whole idea of I don't trust women or whatever, which,
yeah.
I say do the work. Don't have what your, hangups are, especially with my and even with fathers too, because there's some women out there. I don't mean to just stay on the men. I'm just saying like address that so that you don't like cheat yourself out of destiny, right? Because it's going to
Yeah.
come out in your relationships. Your woman will be the burden bearer of what you ain't say to your mama, or of what you ain't handle with your mama. It just is what it is. She's gonna
Yep.
be the burden bearer of that. And how is that fair? How's that fair?
Mhm. Yeah, it's not fair to her. It's not fair to yourself because you're cheating yourself. And and unfortunately, it's not fair to your mama.
Facts. Facts.
So,
Facts.
yeah.
Let's see here. So Brian's cross a close relationship with my mother taught me love and respect for a woman, but it wasn't
Mhm.
until I had a daughter that helped me realize the importance of taking care of a woman and paying attention to her needs. It may sound crazy. That makes sense. No, I don't sound crazy.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think that sounds crazy at all. And I think a lot of men learn um, how to really care for and treat a woman
Hmm.
when they have daughters and when they have to,
Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully. Well, and I'll say this when they take care of their daughters, because a lot of these dudes have daughters that they're not taken care of. But a lot of times, and what I'll hear is, "No, my daughter ain't gonna do this." Your daughter's gonna do exactly what you show her, not what
Facts.
you tell her. She's going to follow what you show her. So if you
Absolutely.
have a pattern of multiple women in and out in that cycle, that's what she's going to fall into. She's going to
Absolutely.
follow what you show her. And the amount of men that I've had that have tried to dispute that and argue me down and now she's gonna do what I tell her to do. Bullshit. Excuse my language.
Facts. It's all
But
Gucci.
as somebody's daughter, I
Hmm.
am telling you, they learn, and children in general, they learn what you show them. If you don't show them how they're supposed to be loved by you loving on their mothers and or even if you're not with their mom, you don't show them how to love on a woman, they are not going to learn that. They're going to
Facts.
learn whatever your chaotic behavior is, and that's what
Absolutely.
they're going to think is normal.
And me, I'm gonna take it to the whole spiritual concept as well. For me, it's just like even how you move with women. I feel like because I believe that karma is just basically understanding. You just have to have an
Mhm.
understanding of what you done. So how you moving with these women, how you talk to their mama, how you do all this, congratulations. You didn't just
Yeah.
open that door for your baby girl that you don't want nobody to talk crazy to. Oh, she's the most precious. I don't want nothing. But how you moving with women? You feel me? If you live long enough, you gonna feel that same pain.
Mhm.
Your daughter is gonna go through that. It ain't that I'm wishing that on nobody. You feel me?
No,
I'm just saying
it's
that's
not
just what
about
it
wishing
is.
it on
That's
it.
what it is.
That's what happened. The sins of the father.
The sins of the father is a very real thing. It's a
Yeah.
very real thing. So how you moving? I'm not saying that you gotta, be a doormat or anything like that. Do right and right
Mhm.
to follow you because the truth of the matter is
No,
your precious baby girls or girls, they gonna go through it. And it's because of you. Partially
because of you.
because of you. So
Yeah.
move differently. Move accordingly. So all right, Nikki. So is there anything else you want to add? I see there's Music Man in the studio and hey, we got some other stuff we gonna cover. You got anything else you want to add?
No, not today. I'm good. I'm going back to my birthday behavior.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, beautiful. I appreciate you and happy birthday.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you,
Bookie.
gorgeous. Bye, boo. All right, boom. So you heard it here first. You feel me? So anyway, so like I said, it's important to do a knowledge yourself. And I was just sharing a point. As some of I definitely went through a very crazy, very tumultuous time. And in doing a knowledge yourself, if I'm looking at patterns with relationships that I had in the past and stuff like that. Hey, listen, it revealed a lot. So sometimes you got to sit in the mirror and look in the mirror because that mirror cold blooded. So I see a lot of y'all comments. Thank you so much. If I don't get to them, please charge my head and not my heart. Let's see here. Let me bring on some of these comments. Lee Bennett, thank you for joining me, beautiful. I really appreciate you. Mark says some people use the friend zone or friends with benefit conversation. Hi, John. How have you been? It's been forever. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. But let's be honest, relationship affects your absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. Oh, wow. Thank you all so much for your comments. KWU production. Good evening. Good evening, fellow podcaster. I really appreciate you. Not saying every mom is perfect, but you have to deal with the inner structure. You absolutely have to. You have to deal with it. You don't have to do anything. Let me correct you. You ain't got to do a dang on thing. It's a good idea too, though. Lee says, "Happy birthday." Yes, that's it. Okay, so these comments are coming so fast. I'm grateful to have always had good relationships with the women in my family. Absolutely, you have to address those relationships with the women in your family, right? Because it's going to come out one way or another. That's just what it is. All right, y'all. So let's see here. Let's see. Where else do I want to go with this? Reese, I see that you're in the studio. I see you're in the studio as well as Mark. Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this question right here. I'm going to put this in the chat. I know there's a little delay. So, anyway, so let me ask you all this. If you could go back and choose differently in love, would you? If you could go back and choose differently in love, would you? Listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm gonna say, heck yeah, absolutely, I would. Absolutely, Nikki Nevermind says, yes, she would too. See, and okay, I know what some of y'all are gonna say. Well, going through them experiences made me the person I am today, right? I got my beautiful kids or whatever out it is. Okay, yeah, that's cute. That's real cute. But the truth of the matter is, some of y'all know that y'all wouldn't choose the same baby mama and baby daddy. Y'all wouldn't because even with the trauma that you may have inflicted on your children, right? Some of the experiences that you went through, some experiences may have been meant for you to go through. But this is my question to you, right? Can we be honest? Can you be honest with self? I say yes because the truth of the matter is sometimes our choices are because we was lonely, because they were a pattern, because it was routine, it was easy, it was a moment versus purpose choices, right? Because sometimes we're not even choosing a person because of purpose. Because somebody that's purpose to you, they gonna be a mirror. And a lot of times, like I said, that mirror cold blooded. You feel me? So sometimes you don't want to face a mirror. It's easy to go with the easy choice, the moment choice, the pattern, the routine versus purpose, right? Can a lot of us say that we had those relationships that was purpose? I'm just saying because truthfully, here's the truth. And I'm a spiritual person, so I'm gonna keep it there. If it's not, mute it. How many prayers did you pray based on a relationship that you was in that you weren't meant to because it was a bad choice and it didn't even align with what the creator wanted for you? How many of them have you had? Right? Yes, it's true. Life is not no rose garden. It's not. It ain't no rose garden. But at the same time, we have free will. And so how many times have you made those choices on your own recognizance or whatever? Like, hey, I'm going to holler at this person or whatever, and then you got hurt. They really probably wasn't even part of the story because the truth of the matter is some of them baby mamas and baby daddies wasn't part of your story either. You just chose them from your free will. And now you stuck. And it's a lot of suffering behind it. No judgment, no judgment at all, because we all have probably, a lot of us has probably made choices that have impacted us and even caused some of us to go into therapy. Just saying. So me, my answer is yes. I absolutely would change. Absolutely would go back and change some choices. I'm just saying. Mine was low self-esteem. Nikki says too damn many. There were red flags I saw and I ignored. And some of those bad experiences made me who I am too, which is not all good. That's true. I'm not saying that. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that every bad experience wasn't meant, because the truth of the matter it is. I guess once you get into self, you figure that out. I'm just saying, me personally, I know I made some choices in my past that was like, girl, now you knew. You already knew. God ain't want that for you. Just saying. So anyway. All right, so let's see here. Let me go ahead and bring on Music Man. Are you ready, Music Man? Blink once for yes.
I'm ready. Hey, hey,
What's going on
hey.
with you? Hey, hey,
It's the
hey.
Love Doctor live here on Lisa Hughes Radio. What's up, Lisa?
What's up? What's up?
Lisa.
What's up?
What's
What's up,
up? What's up,
everybody?
Nikki? Happy birthday. That's my new friend, though. I love me some Nikki Bonner. What's up, girl? I hope you have the best
Yes,
birthday ever. So, what's up? Let's get into it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Happy birthday to Nikki, Nikki, Nikki. Yes. I know Mr. Bonner got some wonderful things planned. I already know. I seen him with the relationship
Absolutely.
suit shirt on today.
Yes. Rocking the shirt. Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Mr. Bonner
Yeah.
had on his shirt today too. I saw it. I saw
Yeah, we got to rock the brand up. Everybody be like, "What's
it.
relationship soup?" I'm glad you asked. So I'm sending right to the podcast, to the live. So you probably got some membership just based on me rocking a shirt around town. So shout out to the I'm the official relationship soup model. I'm actually I talked to the admin Nikki Bonner about that. So I'm rocking the shirts around. So nah, my mama told me I look good in the shirt today. So I dig it. So
Absolutely. I love it, Nikki. Absolutely.
then I
Absolutely.
drink it all day. What's
Yes, yes,
as
yes,
you should. Turn up, turn up.
absolutely. So, what feedback do you have on any of the stuff that we covered so far? Because I don't even know if we're going to be able to get to the last topic. But what do you have? What feedback do you have?
Yeah, and I think you hit on a really good point. From the last one we were talking about with it almost comes to the point of people settling, but I think that what you settle for is a reflection of who you are internally. So, we talked about it before. You attract what you are, or you attract what you haven't healed from. So oftentimes, we project and we manifest things that, we haven't dealt with, whether it's mommy issues, daddy issues. We project from, things that we are off spiritually and things that may have hurt us in life. So oftentimes what we do is we connect on a level where we haven't healed. And
Mm,
so, we trauma bond with people oftentimes because it's like for like minds when, I really feel like that soulmate, that one is the one that stretches you, the one that pushes you, make you want to be a better person. And so oftentimes, we settle for what's familiar for what actually will stretch us and grow us into our plan and purpose for our lives.
absolutely, and that's a good point that you make about a soulmate. Making you want to be a better person. A lot of times with a soulmate too, they are a mirror. So while society or culture or whoever, or your own inner self should be like, oh, it should be easy. It should be rainbows, butterflies. We should never argue. No one should ever raise their voice. But the truth of the matter is, a true soulmate, they're going to be a mirror,
Yes,
right? And so
100%.
it's gonna cause you to bring up things that are triggering, right? It's gonna bring a lot of different things to surface. And who really wants to go with that? Then it turns into, nah, this ain't it. This is too much, right? Because
Hmm.
oh my goodness, my other relationships weren't like this. And let me tell y'all something.
And that's the one, right?
And this is the thing. Let me say something. Let me say something too, right? Because the past is a lot of what we know. We don't know about the future unless you psychic Miss Cleo or something. But my thing is the past. Okay. Not that the past did not serve its moment, because there was a present moment for your past. But do a favor to yourself. And if you are in a current relationship, leave it there, because it's not fair to your person and it's not fair to you if you are comparing them to your past. Because what you're communicating is, hey, I felt more secure. This was better than this, because and I'm merely stuck there. So, because I'm comparing you, we can't even move past anything. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
you're stuck, which is going to make the relationship stuck. But the truth of the matter is not to be dismissive of your past. At the same time, it's not fair to your person to compare them to or to keep bringing it up, because what are you going to have to go on to grow on, especially if this person is your soulmate and you have a purpose or a journey or whatever that you're supposed to do that you wasn't supposed to do in the past with them other people. So
Oh, absolutely.
so
Yeah. And
so so it's not going to look like that. But are you open enough to grow enough to explore that? Or do you
yeah,
want easy? Do you want what was in your past? Because the truth of the matter, I can admit some of my relationships in the past were very easy, because guess what? They was a
hmm
pattern. They were
yes,
easy. I wasn't ready
yes,
to grow. And it's not to take anything away from them, because it served for what it was in that moment. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's- so what you
yeah.
can say? Sorry.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, because what doesn't stretch you doesn't teach you. And I'll say that again: what doesn't stretch you does not teach you. So
Absolutely.
oftentimes we want to be in our comfort zone, and I'm a big person about really leveling up and putting the work in for things in my life. I've talked about this, and in the past, that one of the biggest grievances I have with politics is people just BS people, and they talk about it but don't be about it. So somebody who's for you, that soulmate, the person that you're supposed to be with, they're going to make you want to be a better version of themselves. Yes, it's going to hurt, but the reality is when you're actually developing, when you're making yourself better, there's growing pains, and it's going to hurt. But at the end of the day, you have to know that it is for a plan and purpose to make you a better version. And when you get on the other side of that, you're like, I understand what it was. I had to take off those old coats that was stinking, the trauma that I went through, the hurt, the pain, the parts where I didn't love myself. You have to take off those coats, and the person that's for you is going to stretch you to give you that self-reflection and teach you really not only how to love them, but how to love yourself. And when you are, and projection gets a bad knot, but projecting is great when you can project positivity. So when you learn how to love yourself, you can properly love your partner and be make them a better version of themselves. And then you walk in equivalency. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily twins, because I hear these different phrases online, the cute phrase of twin flames, things like that. But you do mirror each other, but because you're balancing the equation, and the Bible talks about being equally yoked. So that's literally the epitome of being equally yoked, when you work and come as two complete beings and come together as a unified partnership.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and every situation is a case by case. You know what I mean? My thing is, if you are given the opportunity, right, is, you know, look at that situation for what it could be and give it a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it is so easy to live with what's familiar. It just is. Like, it's easy to take that same route every day because it's familiar to you, right?
hmm
But sometimes you might need to go that different route because actually it's a better way. It could actually be. I don't know, but I'm just saying that and I just try to plant seeds. You do what do with what you will with it. I'm just trying to plant seeds that, hey, you know what? The past is good. The past served what it is, but give yourself a chance if for where you are. Stay in the present is what I'm saying.
Yes,
I think it's good
absolutely.
to stay in the present, learn the lessons and all of that stuff. It doesn't take away from, but in the present, give that a chance. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because that could very well be what complements your quality of life. It could be your destiny. It could be, all of that. Right. But that's all I'm
That's
saying.
it.
So
That's the one, right?
we definitely have
Absolutely.
some comments. Okay, so boom, most definitely everything starts with yourself and your home. Project. I ain't been drinking. This is
Project.
just water. This is water and key
I
lime.
ain't
I ain't even
drinking.
drinking today.
I ain't
Uh-oh.
drinking.
Hope Jay don't pop up. Absolutely, Jacoby. Thank you for so much for joining me. No growth without pain. Same time, growth should eventually start minimizing the opportunities for pain to come. That makes sense. All right, so let's see here. Oh man, all these comments. Let's see here.
Yes. Great comment.
There's so many comments, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Let's see here. Can we have more than one soulmate or twin flame? I believe that you possibly can, right? I don't know. Well, word has it you only have one twin flame, just from the different reading that I've done or research that I've done. I don't know. You know what I
One
mean?
love. One
But as
love.
far as soulmate, like soulmate can't be defined as, like your mom is your soulmate, your dad is your soulmate, your
Mhm.
siblings are your soulmate, your friends are
Yes.
your soulmate. So, I do believe that we can have more than one soulmate. I believe that there's just certain purposes that say, a soulmate can accomplish. Like, I do believe that there are purposeful soulmates. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So, I don't know how many of them you get. I guess that's between you and your creator to figure that out.
Absolutely.
I don't know. So let's see here.
5011.
I don't think it has to be so hard. Once you healed or healing, that mirror is easier to view. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But the
Yeah,
truth of the matter is, how many people are truly ready and truly healed? And you don't have to be 1,000% healed. To
that's
me,
it.
that's myth. You don't have to
Yeah.
be 1,000% healed. I think if you have that accountability piece, you know what I'm saying, and like you are aware, because I don't think there's a such thing as a person that's 1,000% healed in this realm. I just personally don't.
And you
I
said
mean, I
something there, Lise. Yeah, I mean, because healing is not a destination, it's a
mhm.
journey.
Yeah,
Because you're
absolutely.
constantly healing, because life is constantly lifing. Because if life stopped lifing, then we all be healed and perfect and beautiful and looking 20 at 40. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a constant journey, but we are so focused on a destination when that's not the reality of it. We all go through we may have healed from things in our 20s, but then we're going through things we're healing through in our 30s and 40s. So, because life is always challenging and pressing us and moving us forward. And, the Bible talks about it, you shall come out as pure gold, but it's the pressing. The thing about making gold is that it goes through like a hot heat, like,
Mhm.
to the point that you couldn't even be near it because you would literally burn to death. But that's the pressing that life will put on us. But if we sustain it, we will come out better versions of ourselves. And, that's the life that life's on us. So, that's why
Absolutely.
it's a continuous journey. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Nikki says not 1,000% healed, but aware of your own tendency and toxicity to where you're able to see your own. It's absolutely that. I think that's key. I think that is absolute key for you just to be able to see those things. That's just what I think. But we are short on time. So, Maurice, did you want to tell them about the event? Did you want to quickly tell them about the event that you're going to be hosting?
Yes, so it's a Christian single event. Lisa posted it earlier, also in the soup. So if you check it out, yours truly will be the DJ. So come out and check us out. It is a clean, fun, friendly Christian event hosted by myself and just a group of just Christian-minded people. Safe, fun. Anybody 25 and up, you're encouraged to come out and just have a good time because oftentimes we don't have that in the Christian community. So yeah, come on, pull up to yours truly and have a good time.
Absolutely. Well, Reese, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to take you off of here because you know what today is. You
I,
know what today is.
I know today. No doubt. Let's go. Thank you
All
so
right, so
much.
stick around. Thank you so much. All right, boom. So you heard it here first. So there was a couple of other things that I wanted to get into, and so we'll figure out when to bring those other things up. So did you already know, Mark? It is smelling so good in here. I have some baked chicken in the oven, right? I got some lobster and crab bisque. I'm telling you, I got all kind of little stuff going on over Tim. I'm just saying. Holly, I will post that flyer in the announcements already. Will it let me? Is it gonna let me? I'm gonna have to do it after the show. I'm gonna have to absolutely do it. Yeah, I told you, family. Listen, listen. This look. You see, this is the little. You know what I'm saying? Let me show a little shoulder. Y'all see my little tan line? Just saying. Hey, this is the one shoulder, so y'all don't think I'm repeating the same dress. You see? I mean, funny, but anyway. So, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. I really, 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 really appreciate you. All right, so let's see here. What else do I want to bring on? There were so many different comments. If I did not bring on your comment, please forgive me. Charge my head and not my heart. Y'all know I be trying to get y'all comments on Lisa be eating good. listen, listen, I be eating real good. Yeah, I thank you so much, Holly. I appreciate you, beautiful. I am going to put that in the comments. For some reason, StreamYard would not let me post it. So what I'll do is I will definitely post it like, after I log out. log out, I will put it in the thread. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to eat good. Hey, that's part of self-care. Eating good is part of your self-care. I'm just saying. So anyway, y'all, do I want to try to get one true false in here? You know what? We'll continue it next time, right? Because I am so grateful for my guests. Thank y'all so much for joining me in the studio. Y'all know I really appreciate y'all. Happy birthday to Carl and to Nikki. And Nikki, why did your birthday twin just text me talking about that he's stuck in traffic? Too late, Carl. The show is over. You missed it. So anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much. So tonight was basically about reflection, y'all, knowing your worth and leaning into the courage it takes to be honest, right? With self. We'll cover the other stuff. We'll get that next show. All right. So just the courage that it takes to be honest with yourself and others, right? And the affirmation that I have for you, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. Y'all know I like to end with an affirmation before my little thank yous, right? Go ahead and get that in there. Shout out to Lisa's shoulders. Listen, and they got the little brown on them. They a little toasty. Listen, I still got some time before I lose this tan. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, so this is moving so fast. Forgive me. Hey, cousin, I cannot wait to see y'all. I can't wait to see y'all really soon. I can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. All right, y'all. So this affirmation I have for you today, I'm worthy of truth, respect, and front row love. I choose to live in love and honesty, knowing that trust is the foundation of everything that I build. Right? Absolutely. Yeah, Lee. I knew you had to say hi to your boy there. Hey, Michael, how are you? Oh, I see you. That's 2 weeks. I see you 2 weeks in a row. Joining the soup, joining the live. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, y'all. So, everybody, thank y'all so much for pulling up tonight. Thank you so much for your comments, for your feedback. I always appreciate that. I got to give my shout outs to my mama. Thank you so much, Aunt Anna, the Grishams, all my viewers, Mark, Music Man, Nikki, and even though Carl was late, Carl, thank you so much for joining. And of course, please make sure that you are liking and subscribing across all platforms. On YouTube, it's Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period in there. If you want to join the group, it's Relationship Soup Group. If you want to join, follow me. It's Relationship Soup LLC. And of course, on Instagram, it's Relationship Soup. And then here is the greeting card site as well, right? So, anyway, I hope that this show has planted some positive seeds. And I hope that this will help us to see ourselves more clearly so that we can love more wisely, right? Because it always starts with you. At the end of the day, it starts with you. You got to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you're gonna be on something else. So anyway, y'all, until we meet next time, I really appreciate you. Look, I'm making sure that I coordinated. And somebody won't let me forget how I didn't coordinate my little piece the last time. Well, about what, 2 or 3 shows ago, 3 shows ago. But anyway, y'all, until we meet next time, thank y'all so much. I love y'all. And until we meet next time, peace.